Afternoon, everyone. I have a fascinating saw to show you today, which I have only just recently completed a conversion on it, and this is a Husqvarna 65, unusual version as well, so it's a B65 I believe. But what I really loved about this particular saw, and I've had a lot of B65s or a lot of 65 versions, is the throttle lock assembly, or the safety catch is incredibly unusual next to the forefinger. So as you grip it, that will let you pull the throttle up. So instead of being a conventional on the top, it's on the side, and it's very intuitive and feels really natural to use, and is fantastic. And serial number again, outboard as opposed to inboard, but next and adjacent to the silencer and the bolts on the outside. So everything else identical to a standard B65 apart from the throttle lock assembly. And so several things I loved about this particular saw. They're very tractable, as you may have seen on some of the other videos of me running and cutting them. And this is one I've never cut with. And when I bought this saw originally, it was with a 3/8 setup. But you know, on some of my Clintons, I love using the 404 pitch chain. I prefer the bigger feel, and I prefer the way the 404 cuts. And probably because the saws I'm cutting with are lower RPM, but they still take huge cuts out of the wood. So what I ended up doing was I've ordered and I don't know how many people know this, but on the early Stihls and the early Husqvarnas, the rim sprockets, so instead of buying the clutch drum with the integral sprocket cut into one piece of metal, if you go for the rim sprocket, that spline is standard across loads of early saws. And so the 65, some of the 61s, the 280, 380, 480, those clutch drums are interchangeable with things like the 07, the 08S, the Stihl 44, a 660, an 880. So you can take a standard splined rim sprocket and then put it onto what you've previously been running. So I bought a different clutch drum, Husqvarna clutch drum with the spline, put then on a Stihl 404 rim sprocket, and then I was on the hunt for a while for a vintage Husqvarna guide bar. And I had two options. One was to go for a solid nose, which would have meant then switching between 3/8 pitch and 404 pitch was no trouble at all, because there's no sprocket at the nose. And so as long as you chose the correct gauge, you could switch between chains just by changing the rim sprocket. The other option, which I've been struggling to find, and I've eventually found one, is I've gone for a vintage Husqvarna nose wheel. And of course the difference between the nose wheel and the sprocket wheel is, instead of having, they're both ball bearings at the front end encapsulated, but instead of having a toothed sprocket, you just have a round wheel. So again, you have less resistance, particularly as I'm running a pitch up now. I've got the benefit of having a roller nose front end, but with the flexibility to be able to switch it back to 3/8 pitch just by changing the rim sprocket. So here she is. She's a little bit unusual, in fact very unusual. She's the side throttle lock release on the grip, running a now genuine Husqvarna splined clutch with a Stihl 404 rim sprocket, a vintage Husqvarna 18-inch roller nosed bar, and a nearly brand new Stihl 404 semi-chisel chain. Never cut with her. I'm going to change that now. I can't wait to see how she cuts. She's been hanging up. She's always been an amazing starting engine. This saw's in great condition. Idle starts perfectly, oils perfectly. Has had new hardened steel bolts all the way around the chassis. Pull start assembly rebuild. New spark plug, new fuel line, new hardened steel side cover nuts, stainless steel bolts for the original felling spike, etc. Pistons like brand new. It's perfect condition, the piston. Shouldn't say brand new because she's 52 years old. Kill switch. So I can't wait to see. So I've got some 10-inch larch set up. Let's see how she runs. So I never even cut with her when she was in 3/8 setup. So there's such a tractable engine. I just really wanted to have one of these set up with one of my favourite chains. So now I have it. Now I'm going to show it. Kill switch, throttle lock. Wow, amazing. So gorgeous, gorgeous clean cutting. Ah, fantastic. So slightly unusual in that you can feel that the engine is working a touch harder than with the 3/8 pitch chains when they cut. But again, I think, you know, about 4.5 horsepower, pulls it effortlessly, and just fabulous, fabulous to use. Wow, absolutely fabulous. I'll grab one more piece of wood. Let's grab guys, just do something bigger. Okay. Right, this will be interesting, just so I can sink the blade a bit deeper in, just to see how she copes with it when it's fully sunk in. Just check the memory. We're good. Okay. Just. Okay, so we've got a piece of 18-inch fir tree. Kill switch. Wow. Oh, that's so cool. Hey guys, that's so cool. So that is my nearly called her a Stihl because she got the Stihl 404 semi chisel on. So that's my Husqvarna B65 with the vintage Husqvarna 18-inch roller nose bar as opposed to sprocket nose bar, and running a Stihl 404, genuine Stihl 404 rim sprocket and a nearly brand new Stihl 404 semi chisel chain. Spectacular. Guys, she's going up on eBay as a collector's item. Starts as she should, runs as she should, cuts as she should, and hopefully suitable for you out there. She is being replaced with another E90, and I'll explain what happened to my last E90 another day. And so I hope this other E90 arriving is a worthy replacement, because this is a gorgeous machine. So guys, thanks for watching. That's just an amazing saw to use. Okay, and of course you can go back to a 3/8 pitch setup just by buying a standard 3/8 pitch rim sprocket, and then the appropriate linked 3/8 chain back on again. Guys, thanks for watching. Bye for now.